My uncle assaulted my young friends. I made sure he never saw his now ex-wife and children ever again, by getting him banned from a whole country. About 22 years ago my mom got a frantic call from my uncle's best friend to say he had been arrested. Apparently an ex-girlfriend had accused him of assault but she was just being vindictive because he broke up with her. My uncle, Chad, is obviously innocent. We all love him. He is our charismatic, friendly, outgoing, loving uncle. He would never hurt anyone. The family all send money for legal fees. They are in France. We are in South Africa. This is true because it is all over my profile. The best friend sends us all the updates. No one ever thought to Google anything. We were getting it from the source. He was found guilty and the family was devastated. We all send money for an appeal. This goes on for 2 years and then we get the call that he has been found innocent and released. After his release he meets Lucy, who is originally from Canada. Lucy is lovely, comes from money, in a very big way. He is so charming and convincing. They are married in less than 8 months, huge wedding in France. Then suddenly they are having separate honeymoons. He was going to honeymoon in his home country, Namibia, and she was going to Canada. They would then meet up in Brazil. He stayed in Namibia for a couple of days and then partied with us in SA. We teased him that he took his wife's surname. He said that is what she wanted. She is the boss. Ha ha ha. And then he cheated on his wife. I was floored. I had looked up to him all these years and he cheated on his wife on their separate honeymoons. I was disgusted. I see him once after that. He tells me he is unhappy in his marriage blah blah blah. He now has 2 children. I honestly couldn't care less. Then 6 years ago I get a message from him. He is getting divorced. He is coming to SA. Can he crash on the couch? I say sure. He is still family. I haven't seen him in maybe 10 years. Maybe he has changed. He arrives and we have a blast. He hits it off with my fiancée. He is funny and happy, like a weight had been lifted off his shoulders. He tells me they were both cheating. The relationship was extremely volatile. They were always fighting and on edge. They are toxic for each other. She is a total control freak. He is on Tinder and hooking up, on the prowl. He leaves for a couple months to travel around SA. It is an extremely beautiful and diverse country. Comes back, leaves again. We don't mind. He is fun to have around. One of the weeks he is in town, he meets my friend Jane. Jane is a gorgeous, wild, fun, out there. They hit it off instantly. He asks her out for a drink. She says yes. She tells me the next day that they were having a great time but they must have drank a lot because she can't remember much of the evening. She vaguely remembers Chad going home with her. They must have had intercourse. She just can't remember. This is not unusual behavior for Jane. She has a chronic drinking problem. She will get drunk and go home with men all the time. I have learnt the hard way not to bring this up. Also, we are all 40 plus. I am not going to start telling other adults how to live their lives. I am definitely not a saint. 2 days later Chad has to fly back to Namibia and calls Jane from the airport. We are sitting together having lunch. Chad says that he is so glad he has photographic mementos of their time together. She is confused. He then sends her all these nude photos of her, unconscious, laying on the bed, put in different positions. She just starts crying. She doesn't show them to me. I am sent them at a later stage. She tell him to delete them immediately. He laughs. She is furious and embarrassed. She starts reflecting on the evening, trying to remember details. She digs through her handbag and finds the receipt. Cheap bastard left his wallet at home. 2x gin and tonic and 2x tequila. Definitely not enough to get a seasoned drinker blackout drunk. I am furious. Jane is furious. For some reason I think about his assault conviction and Google his name. Holy shit. I wish I had done this 20 years ago. At the top of the Google search, Namibian rapist released from jail in political blunder. We read this article in silent shock. The truth. 2 years before being caught and convicted he met a woman in a nightclub, drugged her drink, took her home, took naked photos of her and then assaulted her. She went to the police the next day. Luckily there was DNA. 2 years later he gets arrested for drinking and driving. They take his DNA and bam, it's a match to the assault. They have all the surveillance footage and the photos on his phone. Easy conviction, even though he had tried to convince the courts they were dating and she was a jilted lover. Can I stop for a moment to puke? His story about being innocent and released is all bullshit. Some politician who was trying to make a name for himself decided to release 100 non-violent criminals. Chad got on the list somehow. About 8 months later they realized their mistake, re-arrested him and extradited him back to Namibia, hence the separate honeymoons. While in Namibia he changed his name and took his wife's surname so he could get into Canada. They don't take convicted felons. I tell Jane we need to go to the police. She says absolutely not. She has dealt with SA police with assault before and it is worse than the actual event. I tell her I know someone, ex-policeman, who can help her. We end up getting into a huge fight. She blames me for introducing them. She has had a couple of drinks on top of this devastating realization, slaps me through the face and leaves the restaurant. I am beyond furious. I am villainous towards Chad. I send him a message saying that I know he had drugged and assaulted my friend and I know about his real past. He is despicable and disgusting. His response, I am so over your drama, does this look like she is drugged? And then proceeds to send me all the naked photos of my friend. I am physically ill. No one wants to see photos of their friend like that. She refuses to take my calls and that day was the beginning of the end of our friendship. I am haunted. This consumes my thoughts day and night. I decide to message his wife. I say, I am so sorry about your divorce and tell her all the shit he has said about her. Are you sitting down? There is no divorce. They are having issues with his infidelity but he promised it would never happen again. He has a therapist who has advised that he should come to SA to find himself. I tell her exactly how he is finding himself. She breaks down and tells me everything. From him harassing the live and au pairs, hiding cameras in their bathroom to film them showering, getting one of them pregnant. There was a huge court case because he denied it was his and refused to take a DNA test. Court made him take the test and he is the father. She sends me all the affidavits, court papers, report from the therapist, etc. She also sent me screenshots of their conversations. Message upon message of him saying how much he misses her and how this trip will save their marriage. He misses her more and more every day, all the while telling us that she is crazy, abusive, controlling and cheated on him with his best friend. Spoiler alert, there is no therapist. He created a fake Gmail account and sent reports to his wife on his progress. The therapist basically said she must forgive him for his infidelity because he had a traumatic childhood and he is actually a super nice guy. If I wasn't his therapist, he would be my best friend. I kid you not, that was in the report. I am not sure if his wife was just really gullible or hopeful, but I saw it the minute I opened the first email. I mean, the idiot even made the same spelling mistakes and used the same colloquialism. Watch this guy get absolutely taken down in part 2. How to expose Stalker X for the psycho he really is. I have an ex-boyfriend that is making my life a living hell for the past year. Broke up with him 2+ years ago. It began with him hacking my computer with a rat, remote access Trojan, attached to pictures of us he sent me through Google Photos. I would be on the internet and he would start remote controlling the cursor, backspacing when I type. Eventually he downloaded a bunch of viruses on it and crashed it. Once I got a new computer, I deleted all my old email accounts he was aware of, all social media profiles, and anything about myself I was able to remove off the internet. What I did not know at the time was that he was able to see everything I was doing when he was remoting in my computer. Now 2+ years later I find out he is aware of what spicy vids I would watch on my computer, apparently humiliated me by telling mutual people we know about it and destroying my reputation. This will be relevant later. The past year my apartment kept getting broken into repeatedly with nothing stolen and things out of place. I filed countless police reports. There would be huge prime marks on the doors and personal documents like medical records, SSN card, tax records, passwords written down, banking records moved and shuffled on the floor. He got my bank account number and info, which I found out later, and has been using it to track me this whole time with no transactions he made, so I wouldn't know. He has a data analytics engineer position and is already well off, so I'm assuming that's why he didn't try to steal anything other than the fact I'm broke as f. I would later find out he had all this info when I attempted to set up my first portfolio website to try and get a software engineering internship. He decided to sabotage that. He waited until the week before Thanksgiving this year to deface my website. Picture of a nude person performing the intercourse acts related to type of spicy vids I used to watch. Inserted a phishing link with the username being his username and my bank account number, and a message that said your server has been broken. Do not blame anyone. No security system is perfect and I mean nothing by it. I regained control of my website and removed the offending content, then set up more security through Cloudflare. I had a hunch it could be him, so I did a scan of his website to see if any of the IPs connected to his Linode servers matched the continued attacks I was getting on the website. He was using fake ASNs, fake countries, fake user agents, fake IPs, and I'm assuming behind a proxy, so it was impossible to tell even when I tried setting up a reverse proxy to get the real IPs. What was very interesting though is a few days later when I tried to do a scan of his site once more, he had switched over all 4 of his servers to be hosted on Cloudflare. When I checked the fake IPs on Grey Noise, most of them had the exact same JA3 fingerprint. He has made constant attacks on my website, and what is creepy is he seems to know exactly when I am in my bedroom, not home, asleep at night, or awake. I will get up and take a shower, and then within a few minutes of me going in the shower he will start making tons of requests to my website. I will go to sleep at different times and somehow he knows exactly when, and checking the logs in the morning I see that within 5 to 10 minutes of the time I put my head on the pillow and closed my eyes that night he made tons of requests. The requests he is making are very creepy, attempting to guess admin passwords as obscure, 60+ character Wi-Fi passwords I used over 6 months ago, setting his user agent to a phrase that mocks the type of spicy vids he caught me watching or my intercourse life, referring to the building I live in and attempting to guess that phrase as a password. I have already reported him to the FBI cybercrime unit, but I reported him before when he got in my computer with a rat after I broke up with him 2+ years ago, and they did nothing and did not even reach out to me for more info. I know they are busy and I'm sure get cases like this all the time, but this has evolved into something very creepy and I cannot function at all due to the psychological trauma of it. He makes requests to my website daily, taunting me and mocking me for the type of spicy vids he caught me watching, and now people I used to know will not speak to me and treat me like a weird guy. I'm not, and these are people I used to work with years ago. I have tried everything under the sun to get him to stop, and he is doing these things intentionally to sabotage my chance at getting an internship, finishing college and getting a job by making it unsafe to use my own website I pay for or post any information online to try and get a job. I have no friends left because they all take his side and everyone loves him. We live in a small town and I have no savings and no way to leave. I can't afford an investigator or attorney and literally running on barely anything each week for food, living off student loans. Please help me think of some ways to get him to stop once and for all, for good, and never mess with me again. I have his full name, address, phone number, email address, job title, employer name, where he works. I need him to leave me alone and let me move on with life, and he will not stop. I thought he would give up, but even after putting up the derogatory pics and bank info on my website he continues to attack it daily and night, months later, sometimes during the day when most people are working. TikTok, let's get together and help them out. Leave your suggestions in the comments below. Got my homophobic bullying co-work fired with a mysterious package. Firstly, I'd like to start by saying I am in no way homophobic. I respect everyone's choices and I still don't understand why people have such a problem with others being gay. When I was about 18, I used to work in a small factory for an engineering firm as an apprentice and had to work with this real piece of shit guy. Let's call him Kevin. For some reason Kevin would find great joy by picking on me all the time in work. He would wait until it was just me and him alone and then call me out for being gay. Note, I am not gay and had a girlfriend at the time. However, that didn't matter to him. He would stroll right over to my desk and call me all these awful names like faggot, homo, cocksucker, etc. plus other words/names that are too disgusting to say. He would get right in my face and try his best to get a response from me, but I would just keep my head down and keep working. Even though I ignored him, he made me feel really crap. I began hating going into work. I started coming up with excuses for not coming in. I did this so often that HR had to have a meeting with me, and I was given an official warning. I was a shy small guy and didn't have the confidence to say anything. This kept on going for months and one day he went too far. I was working on a design for a product from my work laptop and left the factory for lunch. When I got back, he had deleted all my work files and replaced them with screenshots of gay spicy vids. The second I sat back down on my desk and noticed, Kevin ran up behind me and called everyone over to show them what I was supposedly looking at on my laptop. He pulled my arms back behind my chair, holding me in place, and everyone came over and started laughing at me. My boss even came over. My idiot boss believed Kevin and I was given a warning letter about my work behavior and another official warning. I had enough and plotted my revenge. The idea I came up with was to send Kevin a package and have him open in front of everyone. You see, Kevin collected rare DVDs and would have them shipped to the company's address. He would then gather everyone around his desk to show them what he had bought no matter what the package. So, I told my mother my plan. She knew what Kevin had done to me at this point, and she was in. I went online and ordered some extremely embarrassing stuff. I had them sent to my mother. She lived on the other side of the country, and she would send them to my workplace in Kevin's name. I did this so the package would be stamped in a different city, making it look like it was ordered somewhere else. Anyway, the day came when the package arrived. Kevin announced for everyone to come over to see his new DVD. Everyone came over and watched as Kevin opened the box. I stood at the back as I knew what was coming. Kevin stuck his hand in the box and pulled out a huge pink mankini, the one Borat wore, and a ball gag. Kevin's face went sheet white, then everyone burst out laughing. The whole staff were bent over in laughter, some dropping to the floor crying in laughter. The staff started saying stuff like, "Is that for your weekend, Kevin? And is that for your other collection?" I was laughing so much that I couldn't breathe. Kevin ran out the room and we all descended on the box. Besides the mankini and ball gag, there was a note. Now this was the cherry on top, all thanks to my mother. One of the office staff took out the note and read it out loud. This is what it said. "Hello Kevapoo69, because you are one of our most loyal customers, we have decided to send you some free gifts to thank you for your years of loyalty to our brand. We hope you enjoy them. All the best from the team at outofthecloset.com." Well, this just sent us all tumbling to the floor with laughter. I had no idea my mother would do that. Just typing it out now makes me laugh. After we all regained our composure, the head of HR came down and asked me to come up for a meeting. I entered one of the meeting rooms and there was Kevin, the head of HR, my boss and the director of the company. For the next hour Kevin tried to convince them that I had sent him the package. I protested, saying the package was stamped on the other side of the country, so how could I have sent it? The head of HR asked Kevin why he thought I sent the package. He said, "Because I always call him A." Then his stopped him sentence. I turned to him and said, "Yeah, tell them what you always call me. Tell them the names you like to call me every day. Tell them how you single me out and bully me. Tell them about the hell you have put me through." The room got quiet. Kevin was told to leave while they have a chat with me. I proceeded to tell them about what Kevin was doing to me and how long it had gone on for. I told them about the names he called me and what he had done with my laptop. When I was finished, they all thanked me for being honest and said they would investigate my claims further. I was asked one more time if I had sent the package. I said I didn't and that it may have been a mate of mine because I had told my friends what had been going on. But it had nothing to do with me and I had no say in it. So, an investigation did happen. They found out that Kevin was indeed bullying me and other younger staff members and apprentices in the firm. He had been doing this since the day he started working there. He was fired. Good. I don't feel any regret for what I did. He was a 50-year-old man that still acted as a child. If he can't grow up, then he can't work with adults. Years later, on my last day of work, I was asked by the director of the company if I had indeed sent that package to Kevin. I just smiled, winked and said nope, but my mother didn't like Kevin very much. I can now say I'm a confident, happy extrovert. I don't stand for any bullying behavior anymore and always stick up for myself and the people around me. As for Kevin, well, I hope he has improved his attitude and has grown up.